So, ladies and gentlemen on YouTube, I'm going to put this on record to make sure everybody knows that I predict that there's nothing of any interest or note at this BlizzCon. I've said that several times the last 2 weeks, but just want to make it sure here, a couple minutes before this is supposed to start. Did you know that I have actually been playing Warcraft Rumble a very small amount? Obviously, I'm only on like stage 6. Would you like to hear my thoughts on it very briefly? So far, it's crashed about 6 separate times. I honestly feel like that's the best possible way to start talking about Warcraft Rumble. It also really wants you to log in with your Battle.net account, which I have not done, obviously. You know my favorite part about this? And I mean this. This is truly, legitimately suspicious. So I'm actually double-checking myself right now, just to be sure. But, yeah. There's no shop. Now, if you don't understand, like, normally you're probably sitting there thinking, that's a good thing, right, Lore? The mere fact that there's no shop at launch is actually an extremely bad thing. In fact, it's scummy. I should mention, by the way, that looking at the interface here, I know you can't see it because I'm tiny, but looking at the interface, there's not even a space for a shop, which is even scummier. Because what's going to happen is people are going to look at it and be like, oh, it's not microtransaction to hell and back. It's actually not terrible. Cool. And then they're going to release the shop. And then it's going to be microtransaction to hell and back. I'll talk about the game later. There's honestly not much to talk about. Imagine baby's first reverse tower defense or hero defense, and you've kind of got it. So... okay, so random montage. Of some really weird things picking here. So, since nothing's going on the screen right now, I don't mind telling you. One of the other things that didn't impress me about Warcraft Rumble is it had one of the worst tutorials I have ever seen in my life. It was simultaneously too handholdy and didn't tell you anything. It's one of those tutorials where you can't do anything but what they allow you to do. But then they didn't explain any of the actual mechanics. You just kind of had to intuit what was going on. It was very strange.
BlizzCon 2023. Please welcome the president of Blizzard Entertainment, Mike Ibarra.
Let's go! How's everybody doing? Oh, man. You know, this is the best gaming community in the world. Hands down. Hands down.
I think the FF14 crowd would disagree with you on that, buddy.
Wow. Hello, Blizzard.
That is a terrifyingly fake smile. I've seen a lot of fake smiles in my life. Look at his face. Look at his teeth. Look at his teeth.
All of us.
What is wrong with this guy?
I love you too.
Is he human?
At Blizzard have missed this so much. It's 4 years. It's been 4 years. You know what I say to that? That's too damn long. Where's our heroes of Overwatch at? Adventurers of Sanctuary? defenders of Azeroth, and gamers everywhere, welcome. We love sharing what we're working on all the time, but to share it in person with all of you and to hear your stories, it cannot be matched. Meeting you all face to face inspires us, and we put this energy and enthusiasm back into everything we do.
I don't believe a word he's saying.
Thank you all for being here.
No, I don't mean that to say negative. Like, you can smell the lies on him.
In fact, we have tens of thousands of you here in Anaheim, California today.
Like, his tone is wrong.
The immersive experience we've created here at the show.
He does. He sounds like he's reading a script, possibly for the first time.
Right now on stream.
Yeah, this guy gives me some very serious used car salesman vibes.
From around the world.
Listen, and in the interest of honesty and fairness, not everyone can do public speaking. It's a skill. And this guy does not have it. But that always brings up the point. If someone shouldn't be on camera, then don't put them on camera.
But BlizzCon isn't just about the latest updates from Blizzard. It's all about you. Players are at the forefront of everything we do.
Sorry.
And we're devoted to supporting these incredible communities.
Like StarCraft 2. Oh, wait.
To be part of. All of us, gamers, developers.
Yeah, not to lick Metzen's boots too much here. Metzen has charisma. The man has a legitimacy and a genuineness to him. He gets up on stage and he's just a geek enthusing with other geeks, right?
Or lifelong friends.
That's why Metzen was the face of BlizzCon for years.
I've always felt Blizzard brings players together a little differently. Our players have made connections that span continents, languages, and generations.
In the interest of fairness, that is true.
We all have that one story. That incredible play of the game. That clutch card draw. Or that raid encounter that your guild barely survived.
So that's interesting, the specific things he focuses on.
I've been there too.
Hearthstone, Overwatch, and WoW.
In one of our games. A friend who began just as someone we hung out with in game, but who was there for us to celebrate our real life wins or to support us.
By the way, Hearthstone still makes money, but that's mostly because it's extremely cheap to keep going.
Thanks to my experience playing Blizzard games over the last 25 years, I've met most of my best friends from all over. And I'm so grateful that some of them are here today.
God, he is... You can feel this man trying to lunge off the stage.
And of course,
This is like if I put Evo on stage here. And like Evo, I want you to give this an opening crawl speech.
I always know that no matter what is going on in real life, they will be there.
No offense, Evo.
Playing.
Yeah, he does, J. Palmer. He looks like he's just self-destructing before our very eyes.
You share that feeling. BlizzCon truly is about all of us, as players, as equals.
As a Dalek.
As we bring these amazing experiences to more places, build technology that allows more gamers to experience our worlds, and create characters and stories more players can relate to, the Blizzard community grows. And more importantly, our friendships grow.
Uh-huh.
All of us are so grateful to be part of this community.
Uh-huh.
And in everything we do, we are in service to you.
Uh-huh.
We know we don't do everything perfectly.
Go to hell.
But thanks to your feedback, we never stop striving to do it right. We are here to foster joy and belonging for everyone. We're proud of the worlds we build, but your experiences within those worlds bring them to life, and your connections with each other are what inspires us the most. Now,
I hate everything this guy is saying.
I've heard the recent news about Blizzard joining the Xbox gaming family.
Yeah, he is saying nothing here. I hate this.
Xbox believe that gaming is a unifier, that we should all be able to play anywhere and any way we want to play. That when the creativity of some of the
Oh, by the way, he's doing the hands thing.
and
That's always a sign of someone who doesn't know what they're doing on stage.
Everyone wins. With that in mind, someone is here backstage who'd like to say hello. Over the years, he and I played a bunch of games together. Please join me in welcoming my friend, our friend, the CEO of Microsoft Gaming, Phil Spencer.
Okay, I don't want to, like, give someone credit for not being garbage, but at least Spencer knows how to frickin' talk in front of a crowd. I'll take a charisma of 3 over a charisma of -5, you know?
And hello, everybody, BlizzCon. This is my first BlizzCon ever. And it's great to feel the energy in the room. You are the reason we make games.
Blah, blah, blah.
Your love for these games truly is inspiring. I recently have spent so much time playing Diablo 4 with my friends. Season 2 is awesome.
No, it isn't. Don't lie.
I tell you that I can't wait for you to see what the team has planned for that game. It's going to be awesome. Blizzard occupies a special place in the gaming industry, for me as well.
It does,
Throughout
actually.
Blizzard's
I'll give you that.
history, they've pioneered and refined so much across the gaming industry, and many of you here today have been a part of that journey. Think of Diablo. It propelled the action RPG genre forward. StarCraft.
Oh my god, he acknowledged StarCraft existed. Also, did you notice the sound of the crowd to that?
Of what esports would eventually become. And with StarCraft,
Yeah, StarCraft founded esports and definitely nothing else.
evolution of games as live entertainment.
Oh my
World
god.
of Warcraft.
He did acknowledge StarCraft more than the other guy.
Developed and supported games, but really it introduced a much wider audience to the concept of online communities. And Overwatch.
Yeah, Quake doesn't exist. What are you talking about? It's fine, it's fine.
Reimagined gameplay, but also the representation possible in class-based shooters. Blizzard's influence is everywhere, and because of its enduring legacy and phenomenal revolutionary development, with a care and a craft that is incredibly rare in this industry. Our commitment at Xbox is to bring more great games to more players in more places. And now that Blizzard is part of Xbox, we will nurture the essence of what has made Blizzard unique.
So far, yeah, not a single word has been spoken, Kier White Noise.
Colleagues in a culture of trust, inclusion, and collaboration to continue what they do best. Redefining existing genres, creating new, never-before-seen experiences, and uniting players globally in new ways.
Please, for the love of God, say something.
Near future Earth and beyond. It has been a privilege to welcome the teams at Blizzard to Xbox, and I'm honored to be able to be here to help welcome all of you to BlizzCon 2023. Having seen what's in store for players, I can say the future of Blizzard is brighter than ever. And you all have so much to look forward to in this show.
Roll to disbelieve. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be negative, but Jesus freaking Christ.
I'll get out of here, let you see the show. Thanks everyone for the warm reception, and have a great time at BlizzCon.
At least Phil Spencer has the ability to have a charisma score, which is why we're getting him off stage now, obviously. The only reason he came up on stage was that was a sign. That was, no really, we're joining Microsoft. Boom. That's all. That's it.
Free and dedicated to holding true to what makes Blizzard unique than we are today.
Blizzard isn't unique.
We are accountable for creating this next chapter of Blizzard with all of you. We take this responsibility very seriously as we learn, grow, and get better every day. This is the start of a new era. So much more is possible. And you'll see some of that over the next couple days.
Yep, we're gonna announce Warcraft Rumble.
From some new friends.
Sorry.
And some old friends.
Everybody's waiting for Metzen.
BlizzCon stage,
How many of you in chat are waiting for Metzen? Real talk, be honest.
we all.
Be honest.
Before I go, I want to take a moment to thank our Blizzard team.
I'll raise my hand on that too, by the way.
You
Gotta remember his lines. He needed a prompt in his mic, in his ear. Needed the prompt. I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound so harsh, but again, I know this is a hard job. That's why you put someone up on stage who can do it!
talented individuals on the planet. And collectively, we are capable of building the most legendary universes in gaming. Our future, our creative freedom, our path forward is truly our own. And I know we all stand together with a singular goal: to exceed player expectations and foster and support each other.
Jesus Christ. We've got to exceed player expectations, everyone. Which, at this point, would be putting out a game worth a damn. You think you can manage that expectation?
Many of the Blizzard team are here today in Anaheim, working hard to ensure you enjoy your time here. We all love talking to players, so please don't be shy. Come up and chat with us. Finally, on behalf of everyone,
I'm down here, Yura.
we want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. From the bottom of my heart,
You don't have a heart! You soulless abomination! Get off my screen!
and your honesty.
I am being very honest. Get off my screen!
Our communities. This is what BlizzCon is all about.
What's really sad is they keep chatting to the people clapping, but pay attention to the background. The number of people not clapping is a lot. There's a lot of people just sitting there, glaring.
Welcome to BlizzCon.
Okay, so that was 20 minutes of my life I'm never getting back. Can we get on with it, please? Is this... Oh my god. The answer to that is a no.
You wanted to see if there was more out there.
Jesus Christ.
Well, see for yourself.
As a reminder, these are not new cinematics. This is just a highlight reel.
I'm gonna kick every one of you. And
Yeah, did you notice the suggestion, the implication that that's the live audience reacting to this live and not part of the edit? That's insidious.
I'll see you at the finish line.
Did you really think this would be a fair fight?
That was disgusting.
You know, I wanted to like Overwatch a lot. It's such a great baseline of a game. And I mean that. It was the beginnings of what could have been a great game.
And you out there, the fans, it's been a joy to share this experience with all of you. Thank you so much.
Come on. It's time I showed you something.
Okay, so that's another 2 minutes of my life I'll never get back.
Please welcome Overwatch Game Director, Aaron Keller.
I'm going to be really, really honest. If anybody wants me to not be harsh at this particular announcement, please stop watching now. Speaking as someone who fundamentally loves Blizzard games, even now, Dragonflight is a great MMO. WoW is a great MMO.
Ever since
I am not holding back anymore.
2014,
The gloves, you know what, here. Let's make this official. The gloves are off.
unique and beautiful. Every single day, we see millions of players jumping into matches, forging new friendships.
Notice how they don't have the 2 there. Did you catch that? Overwatch. You mean Overwatch 2, right? The piece of garbage you pushed out that was more like Overwatch 0.05?
You've been crushed by Diva's mech over 26 million times. had more than 79 million
I
lives
just-
saved by Baptiste,
You...
and played 65 years worth of prop hunt.
Like, do I even need to explain exactly how stupid Overwatch 2 is?
First and foremost, focused on you, our players. We want our game to represent this global community, from the release of our Samoa map to our celebration of Pride, to our first tie-in Peruvian heroes, Lifeweaver and Alari. We also want Overwatch to recognize those focused on achievement and prowess, and released our new progression system and the first set of Hero Mastery courses this year. And for those that just want something a little different, we've run April Fools and released a dating sim, an actual dating sim, Loverwatch. Listening to your feedback is important to us, and it's driven the team to look at changes to some of the core systems of the game. We've been hard at work on an overhaul of our competitive system, and we'll get into that a bit today and a bunch more over the course of BlizzCon. And there is so much more to come.
Like what?
I'd like to give you all a glimpse at as much as we're able to show you coming next year. And boy, do we have some fun things to talk about. So let's get into it.
By all means.
To share our first big announcement, I am honored to introduce the art director of Overwatch, Dion Rogers.
The art director? Okay. This is just getting more and more confusing.
Wow. Sorry, I'm a bit excited. The energy is awesome in here. You know, Aaron and I have been working on this universe since before Overwatch had a name. Working together with an incredible team back at Blizzard. Many are with us today at BlizzCon. Creating such an incredible game with so many amazing people and seeing what it means to you all, it's meant everything to us.
Yeah, I withdraw my questions.
All the things we work on, one of our favorites is to create new heroes.
That means we can sell them. Or wait.
You know, Overwatch is full of big...
Yeah, no, they brought someone real. Did you catch that? They brought... That's why they brought him up. They wanted someone who was actually a human being to get on the stage. It's actually a pretty common tactic.
We haven't leaked any articles. We haven't leaked a spray or two. And we've left 0 hints, especially not in our recent Samoa map. Now, who's ready to meet the newest hero?
Sure. I mean, honestly, no interest, but sure. What do you got?
Sorry to keep you all waiting. But now that I'm here, let's have some fun.
If he's not voiced by Dwayne Johnson, we have a problem.
And this right here is Gunny. And she can light up the whole dance floor. And this one's Cha-Cha. He's a sensitive little fella, a real hothead. And when I fire them both, it's double trouble. Actual gameplay footage.
Okay, you don't get to say actual gameplay footage, and then immediately, in the very next edit, leave gameplay footage. That's actually cheating.
Both hearts pumping. I got your back. For now. Here I come.
This is... okay.
We got him where we want him.
Unbelievable.
You know, my favorite part about the constant maniacal laughter... Team Fortress 2 did it better years ago.
We're gonna have a hell of a time.
In fact, When did Meet the Heavy come out? Could someone date that? Could someone Google that, please?
That's awesome. I love that trailer. We had a lot of fun working on it. It's amazing to finally announce Malga. He was first introduced, you guys know, 4 years ago in a short story, and he's been the subject of a lot of fun theories. Ever since that first introduction, fans have been asking when he may become a playable hero. We're excited. We finally have our first Samoan hero.
Please clap. Sorry. Try not to be too negative.
Malga, his name, it means mountain in Samoan. He portrays himself as this big, loud brute. However, this is just a facade. He's a cunning tactician, always one step ahead of his enemies. One of the core goals whenever we make an Overwatch character...
It was 16 years ago. Jesus Christ.
We're always striving for greater authenticity and representation with each hero. And with Malga, we got a lot of help, actually. Even his tattoo was created by an amazing Samoan tattoo artist named C.E. Lufau. Malga's super fun.
You know what irritates me the most about this? If I can just be completely real for a second. I mean, we're still in polemic week, right? I can be polemic for a second. I'm down with diversity, and I'm down with actually reaching out to people who are natives in order to get their input on making things. In fact, that's my own preferred approach to that kind of a deal. What irritates me is when they do it and then, like, use that as a shield, you know? Use that as the selling point. Yeah, exactly. This is a freaking bullet point. That's a great way to put that. This is a bullet point. I love the idea of a Samoan hero in this kind of a thing, because Overwatch as a setting is a superhero setting, right? And so, yeah, no, that tracks. I'm with it. Cool. But they're not, like...
Legacy. A legacy is forever. All year long, teams around the world have battled, chasing glory, hoping to etch their homeland in the history books.
That is insane! He's still fragging like a madman! And it's a 5-man rampage! Oh, what? Oh, here we go!
They've tasted victory, they've overcome defeat, and all along...
That's a good point, Kikos Moore. Do you consider this good content? Because admittedly, I don't. But I also would go so far as to say that I don't think it's good or bad content, I just think it's irrelevant. And that is admittedly my opinion, which is why I'm kind of staying a little bit back here. Because, yeah, this isn't content.
Once more, back to where it all
At least not to me.
Each team can see their...
Because, yeah, it's Overwatch. There's... It's like League of Legends getting a new hero. Okay. And?
Now.
Please welcome Overwatch esports host, Zoe Kschwind.
But, well, no, you're right, Kikos Moore. I can't.
Wow. Fantastic to see all those.
I'm gonna mute her. Because I just absolutely have negative interest in esports. I agree with you, Kikos Moore. It qualifies as content. I can't actually make that argument. I like her outfit. Yeah, the problem is Overwatch is kind of a vacuous game. It's a game that's already kind of on life. So excuse me. Overwatch 2 is kind of a vacuous game. It's a game that's already kind of on life support. It's already kind of flagging in several respects. At least the last time I checked, which was admittedly several months ago at this point. It's a game that they are desperately trying to inject some life into. I imagine that the putting this on Microsoft on the Game Pass is probably something they're really pushing for. Yeah, it feels exactly. They tried to force an esports community. We actually talked about this during StarCraft. You can't build an esports community. You can support it, but you can't build it. We do that. That's actually what makes this esports community. And Overwatch 2 has been trying to, yes, Lunera, trying to bite out of that market. And in my opinion, they have been failing at it, regardless of my personal biases. Because, as I said, this is just not my wheelhouse, right? I have no interest in a game with no content other than competitive multiplayer. So, having said all of that, I do agree that a new hero is content, and I do think that, hey, you know, adding inclusivity is great. I still feel like it's exploitative, but to be honest with you, the only reason I think that is because of everything else, if that makes any sense. The fact that they're trying so hard to gain brownie points, right? They're trying so hard to gain back some of their lost cred, some of their lost rep. Having said all of that, it's one of those interesting comments. If something good happens, like if we do get more inclusivity, even if it's being done disingenuously, even if it's being done in a way that is arguably vacuous, could that still be considered a good thing? And that's where we get into some interesting discussion, which I will probably not talk about here, because I think that's drifting a little bit too much into polemic day at that point. But it is an interesting thing to talk about. It is interesting to think about, because the argument could be leveled. At least some of those people are starting to get work, starting to get more exposure. We're starting to get more awareness of that. It's becoming more popular, meaning other companies might be doing it more. Meaning might get more actual inclusivity and actually talking to people who are natives and blah, 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 blah. Like that could actually become more and more of a thing, right? So I apologize for my comments. I will take those back. Having said all that, Overwatch 2 can go straight to hell. Oh, hang on. Looks like they're showing something. Nope, it's just going back to him.
Malga is awesome. And the World Cup matches all weekend will be so much fun. But Overwatch has another thing happening here at BlizzCon. Earlier this week...
Agreed, Kikosmore. Agreed completely.
And Special Skins is part of an exciting collaboration with Le Sserafim, one of the biggest K-pop groups in the world.
Who?
Everyone can jump
what?
right now to take part, as well as check out their brand new music video for Perfect Night. And in honor of this collaboration, Le Sserafim will take the stage and perform in the arena tomorrow after the community night ends around 6 p.m. Pacific.
No, Dark Prince Revan. Nothing at all. Literally nothing at all.
Like this, or what we did with One Punch Man earlier this year, are incredibly fun. Yes. They provide us, both the dev team and you, the players,
yes, Jay Palmer,
to experience some of our favorite universes and artists through the unique style of Overwatch. And next year, we have even more of these for you all to geek out about. Sadly, we can't reveal what those are all just yet, but maybe there are some other things coming in 2024 that we could give you a hint about.
Like what?
The Overwatch team has never had such clarity of vision when it comes to the future. From direct feedback, we hear what you love and want us to focus on.
Roll to disbelieve.
Who wants to see a few of the things we're working on for next year?
Overwatch 1.5.
A brand new core PvP game mode, Clash. In this new competitive mode, there are 5 points positioned in a row. The center point starts as the first objective, and the teams battle back and forth over the map, pushing into enemy territory or defending their own. Once a team captures all 5 points or reaches the maximum score, they win.
Yeah, that's...
Our initial Clash map is a tribute to a location...
That's extremely not new.
And one of my personal favorites. They say cherry blossoms are a sign of rebirth and rejuvenation. And in 2024...
Yeah, not only is that Arathi Basin, but that's Team Fortress 2. I'm sorry. Your big new PvP match mode, you see my point, Kikosmore? This is your new map mode?
We are working on overhauls...
Is something that's been around for 20 years?
Overwatch is a highly competitive game, and in early 2024, we'll release a reworked version of our competitive system with all new competitive rewards. And with Seasons, one of the team's goals has been to create themes that speak to so many of the cool and awesome things that we all love. Next year, you'll experience Eldritch Horror, Egyptian mythology, witches, and even a mirror universe where heroes become villains.
Oh my god.
Villains become heroes. And of course, Overwatch is nothing without its heroes. Mauga is the 39th hero in Overwatch, and in 2024, we'll be releasing 3 more, and we want to give you a glimpse of 2 of them. A new damage hero, Venture, is coming in Season 10, and a support currently codenamed Space Ranger in Season 12. And this is just scratching the surface of everything we have in the works. Join us tomorrow here and online, where we go in depth on all of this in our What's Next panel. It will have more information on Clash, the reworked competitive system, a closer look at Space Ranger, even early gameplay footage of Venture, and so much more.
That's the second time you've used that phrase, so much more, and overemphasized it.
Not only is
And I don't believe you.
playable in the Overwatch Hall here in Anaheim, but all of you at home can play Mauga all weekend in-game, including Quick Play, going live right after the BlizzCon opening ceremony concludes.
No, I'm dead serious. At the beginning of his speech, he was like, we're going to show you so much over this coming presentation. We are now at the end of his presentation. They haven't shown us jack. 1 new old game mode, 1 new hero, and 1 new map, which they didn't actually show off, by the way. And, by the way, they're having a tournament. And then they're like, and now we're going to show you so much more in the future. At that point, you have proven that you're lying.
Yes!
Dude, I am shaking so hard.
Congratulations, the game is out!
Anyways, D4.
I'm pumped for Diablo 4.
Sorry, that's true. It's not even a new map. It's a reworked map. My bad.
Hell yeah, really?
Yeah, I will cry. That would be amazing.
So far, and I don't want to sound negative, but so far, I have been 100% accurate with my predictions here. Which means if they have any actual real announcements, it's going to be at the end of the opening ceremony. Because there are 2 ways, generally speaking. Jesus Christ. There are 2 ways to do representation. Sorry, wrong word. To do announcements when it comes to a convention like this. You put the big thing at the beginning, and you open strong, or you put the big thing at the end, and you leave them wondering. Both of them are valid depending on how far out it is and how confident you are in it. If you put it at the end, generally speaking, it means it's either further out, or you don't really have anything.
I'm gonna shove my green foot right up there.
Yeah, let's go!
Level 100!
There are literally like goosebumps.
Go down a bit more, go down a bit more, go down a bit more. You got her!
Could you, like, not, please?
Will you fight the darkness?
Break the chains and be beautiful in sin.
Hail Lilith, Blessed Mother.
You can pet the dogs, by the way.
No, exactly, Dakota. It's a really common thing for a lot of different things. You put the big thing at the beginning, or you put the big thing at the end.
Manager of Diablo, Rod Ferguson.
Yeah, by the way, I know this can sound really hypocritical, but speaking as a streamer, please stop leaning on streamer clips to sell your games. It comes across as cheap and fake, probably because it is and it is.
This feels amazing. So glad you're here, and I'm so happy the people at home are here as well. You know, watching that was such a great reminder of what a fantastic community we have, and what an exciting year it's been. Now, you might have missed it, but in there was a clip of a blind gamer, Tylenif, defeating our hardest boss, Uber Lilith. Now, we strive to make Diablo as approachable.
Oh yeah, by the way, sorry, spoilers for Diablo 4.
Like that make me and the team.
I don't know if you really caught that, but they are spoiling the D4 story. So in case you care, this is a good time to bow out.
1,000 people got permanent Diablo tattoos at our Hell's Inc. events, including me.
This is, to answer Lord Haramont's question, this is the first BlizzCon in 4 years. Blizzard obviously has a significance and relevance to me, and both professionally and personally. We literally just finished covering StarCraft and StarCraft 2.
For even more experiences in that dark
And,
caught between the high heavens and the
well,
low hells. A little place
this is kind of a question mark.
And
I
at that time, I've been very
was right so far that this is trash, but there was always the possibility that I wasn't right, that there was something actually worth talking about at this BlizzCon. Yeah, no, Blizzard is legitimately a pillar of the gaming world. That's not the biggest pillar, but it's one of them. And so far, 40 minutes in, so far this has been exactly what I was expecting.
I love Diablo 2.
And I hate being right. Also, D2 isn't that good of a game. All right, so moving on. And I just lost all my viewers.
And Diablo Immortal brought Sanctuary to mobile for the first time.
Fuck you.
Millions of new players into our universe. In fact, you might not know this, but 60%...
Sorry, that I said that so quickly you probably didn't catch that. That was directed at him, not you guys.
And then, of course, there's Diablo 4. Now... It was that kind of excitement that made it the biggest launch in Blizzard's history. And it means so much to the team to see how you've embraced it. You know, we've played over 1.5 billion hours together so far, and it's your love for the game that drives us. Thanks to you, we've made a lot of changes over the last 5 months. In fact, our patch notes for Season of Blood, our second season, were over 14,000 words long, because that is how much our community has influenced and will continue to influence the evolution of Sanctuary. And if you haven't yet made it, made that leap into the
D3's launch was actually bigger. I checked that.
Now is the perfect time to pick your class, build your character, join Phil Spencer, and see what the hell it's all about.
No, thank you.
With that, I'd like to introduce Diablo 4's 2 production directors. They help lead the teams who are building everything we do today and everything moving forward. Please welcome Tiffany Watt and Chris Wilson.
Have you decided to actually support the game in post, or are you going to keep putting out anemic seasons? While simultaneously somehow putting out better seasonal content in D3, a game you publicly announced you would be not supporting anymore.
Thanks, Rod.
And then you changed your mind and continued to make D3 better than D4.
I was on stage. I was helping to announce Diablo 4. To be here today with all of you is
I like her hair.
so awesome.
The launch was incredible. We're really excited to be here today to share what's coming next. But first, let's highlight some of the player feedback that's in Season of Blood today. So many of you have told
player feedback. I'm sorry. Has the feedback been, please make the game slower and worse in every way? Please nerf every single cool and interesting combo and ability in every class across the entire game? Please constantly make the bosses worse? Please put out boring treadmill content at the end, so I at least have a reason to log in every day? Is this the feedback that you've been getting from your players?
You're going to want to make your way to level 100 so you can fight them all. So in the Season of Blood, we've rebalanced the end game, letting you get to level 100 about 40% faster.
So you've undone your own nerf, and you're acting like it's a good thing. You did that! We here at Blizzard have decided to stop stabbing you in the knife 40% of the time, in the side with a knife. We're gonna do less stabbing. We care about the feedback of how much you don't enjoy the side stabs. Enjoy!
There's still lots of work to be done with reworking itemization. In fact, it's one of our highest priorities. But this, along with upgrades to some of our unique items, is a great first step. So please keep that feedback coming.
Yes, please! Please tell us how much you don't enjoy the side stabbing.
All of your renown rewards now carry over season to season and from the Eternal Realm.
That defeats the point of a season! What are you doing?
Additional character slots. We added 2 this season, so you can create even more characters.
Why is that being considered a good thing?
A targeting dummy has been added to Kyovashad as you can test, so you can test those builds before you run into the butcher. Searching and filtering your stash is now possible.
I heard about that shoe with the Pandaren.
In every town in Sanctuary.
I love how they're adding basic features which, by the way, already exist in D3!
And we've also freed up inventory space by making gems a crafting material to make even more.
Oh my god! Oh my god! That's okay. That's gonna take longer to break down why that's a bad thing, but just trust me on that one.
We're not done with Season of Blood yet.
In fact, starting next week, we'll introduce 5 unique class-specific rings that will let you relive some of the fun from Season of the Malignant. That's right, Necromancers. Once again, corpses will automatically do your bidding just by being in your presence.
So you're bringing what?
We'll also be adding an enchanting preview to the Occultist. So this will allow you to see which affixes are possible.
But that's a feature in D3! That's already a...
It's just another way to give you even more control over making just the right build for the
Did someone actually sit down and then play Diablo 3? And then, like, oh my god, look at all these features! Why aren't we using these?
Abattoir of Zir. It's a highly replayable.
Oh my god! They're killing me. They're giving me an aneurysm.
And mastered all of the other challenges that Season of Blood has to offer.
Oh.
Those who survive will attain a paragon glyph constructed of the Vampire Lord's very own blood. But beware, Abattoir of Zir starts difficult and only gets harder. And of course, as we near the end of Season of Blood, it'll be holiday time. Not only here, but in Sanctuary as well. Our first ever holiday event, Midwinter Blight, starts on December 12th. For 3 weeks, we're going to transform the Fractured Peaks into a winter terror land, and it'll bring a whole new meaning to the word sleigh ride. Yeah? And be sure to keep your eyes peeled for a mysterious red-cloaked terror.
Nothing is as terrifying as Chris's puns, but I will be sure to check out Midwinter Blight. From there, we are on to Season 3. We can't go into too much detail now, but with the endgame being so important, let's talk about leaderboards. We're creating a whole new type of weekly challenge dungeon called the Gauntlet, where the heroes of Sanctuary can compete for their class ranking against their friends, their clan, or anyone in the world. Watch out, Mike Ibarra, I am coming for you. At the end of each week, the heroes with the highest rank will be added to the Seasonal Hall of Ancients, where their name and build will live on. So, that's a quick look at where we are today. And while the live game is our #1 priority right now, we have a separate Diablo 4 team that's been working hard on our next chapter. So how about a little teaser?
That is an extremely unenthusiastic
As
crowd.
we look to expand on the story we started in Diablo 4, we're going to take
Did you notice the trick they're using?
where hatred's influence continues to consume.
Oh yeah, massive spoilers, by the way, based on what you just said. So this is your last chance to not get spoiled in D4's story.
We have each played a part in what has happened here. You abdicated your choice to this child. And with every step she takes, I grow stronger. There will be no salvation in the light.
Yeah, so they're bringing back Mephisto. They already kind of did that in D4, but whatever. Did you...
Vessel of Hatred is Diablo 4's first expansion.
Oh my god. Did you notice? Did you notice? Okay, I have to talk about this. I have to get it. I have to mention this.
Learn the fate of the primeval Mephisto and his demonic plans for Sanctuary. To do that, we'll be visiting a region new to Diablo 4 and a fan favorite from Diablo 2. The lush jungles known to outsiders as Torajan, but known by the locals as Nahantu. With this new story set in a mysterious new region comes new ways to play, new evils to vanquish, and, of course, a completely new class never seen before in the Diablo universe.
Yeah, how many of you remember Act 3 from D2 as your favorite act in D2? How many of you? Random question.
Vessel of Hatred releases late next year, and we cannot wait to share more about it this summer.
Now, before we leave, we want you to know that it's your passion that drives us.
Go to hell.
Your feedback will continue to help us evolve and improve the Diablo 4 experience for years to come. We couldn't be more excited about our future, and we hope that you are too.
Actually, I'll agree with you on that,
The team
Calder.
has put in a lot of hard work. And
So, I'm going to start talking over this guy at this point.
So please join.
Did you catch what they're doing to make it look like the crowd is excited? Because I just processed what they're doing, and it's so scummy that I'm kind of irritated by it. I've been paying attention to every time the camera pans over the crowd, and you'll notice they're using specific shots, usually of people who are clapping or cheering. But if you pay attention to everyone behind them, they're not. They're not cheering. They're not clapping. They're just there, sitting, staring. And I bring that up because you keep hearing this cheering as if there's like, oh my god, there's this huge crowd and they're all going wild. But they're not. Because what they're doing, and the audio is what's giving it away, they're putting the microphones right next to the people who either are going to clap or are being prompted, like the seated crowd. In other words,
Go buy World of Warcraft, install it on your computer, and join the online sensation before we all murder you. All right then.
but in other words, yeah, it's paid applause. Either through actually paying them literal bribe money, or just because they're the people who polled well in that particular thing.
I'm William Shatner.
And that's just...
I'm Mr. T, and this is my night.
Shut up, fool!
You remember, okay, one other thing I got to comment on while they're doing this thing where they're trying to hit the... I don't even know what this nonsense is.
But what you're most proud of is that you've rated third nationally in dungeon progression.
Yeah, they're hitting member berries. They're hitting member berries. That's exactly what they're doing. I'm just gonna let that go for a moment.
For the Alliance!
Did you notice how they wouldn't stop wrapping their lips around the dick of Diablo 2 during that D4 presentation? No offense. No offense to everybody who really likes D2. Really. It is still a good game. Still a 72 on the golden number. And it's iconic and significant for a lot of reasons. But for God's sakes, please get your lips off of D2's dick. They have been trying so... This has been one of my biggest issues with D4 since D4 was first announced. They have been trying so hard to specifically appeal to the D2 crowd. Or, to be more accurate about it nowadays, the Path of Exile crowd.
Anybody here for Warcraft today?
Frankly, I think those people would be better serviced by going and playing Path of Exile 2. It's probably a better game than Diablo 4.
They are so happy to be here today. We have so much cool stuff to show you. So give it up for my Warcraft teams. Can you believe that almost 30 years ago, a dispute between orcs and humans led to one of the longest running fantasy adventures in video game history? Right? Generations of...
I get that nostalgia sells, but that doesn't make it acceptable for people to do it.
First played Warcraft when it was released. I know you're out there.
I played Warcraft 1 as a teenager. Go to hell.
Raising new heroes to take on the raids and battlegrounds of this timeless adventure.
This is just Rumble. I guarantee it. This is just Warcraft Rumble.
It's those shared stories
At least 50% chance, Kate.
that make up this universe. Today is a great day for Warcraft.
Is it?
This
Like, prove me wrong, please! For the love of God! Do something worth a damn!
3 decades and beyond.
Please!
Oh yeah.
So far, I have been 100% correct this far, and I'm not happy about that.
We welcome everyone to find your community.
So what do you got?
Okay, Alliance.
Yeah, no, for Azeroth, thanks.
We're going to give you a chance to do it a little louder later.
Throughout the taverns of Azeroth, tall tales of adventure are retold through the whimsical and clever card play of Hearthstone.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for, man. Freaking Hearthstone.
I like to imagine humans and orcs getting together, showing off their collections, and boasting of their deeds. But in the basements of those same taverns, they're playing a new game.
Yeah, Warcraft Rumble.
Warcraft Rumble.
Uh-huh.
Me too.
No, you're not.
Puts the battlefields and dungeons of Azeroth in the palm of your hand. And finally, World of Warcraft. WoW immerses us into Azeroth, where we are the champions, fighting alongside each other in shared adventure. Almost 20 years ago, WoW revolutionized online communities and reimagined the enduring entertainment of massively multiplayer gaming. The very first Blizzcon was introduced our first expansion, so it's only fitting that we're here today to lay the foundation for WoW's future.
That's a weird sentence. That's a really weird sentence. Like, I thought he was going to be, so it's only reasonable that we do the next expansion. But he didn't.
A home that is always waiting for us. Together, we build this universe. Our teams craft the worlds and the adventures, but it is all of you who bring it to life. You are the heartbeat of the brand new adventures that are about to unfold.
They're actually looping on audience at this
From
point.
all of us on the Warcraft teams here at Blizzard Entertainment, thank you.
Please
Okay.
welcome from Hearthstone, lead designer Cora Georgiou.
Okay, so let's talk about Hearthstone, I guess. It's a cheap game that makes money, so from their perspective, I mean, it's cheap for them to develop.
Hello, BlizzCon. Well, I have a pretty good view from up here. It's really nice to see you all. We are thrilled.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Twice she has paused for audience reaction, and there has been none.
I know. I'm getting old.
I don't know what to make of that.
Decade of telling tales around.
Like, okay, for those of you not aware, there's actually in speeches, in teleprompters, they actually write into the script, pause for audience reaction.
With friends in the battleground.
That's a thing.
Or maybe you've just listened to the 10-hour version of the Saviors of Old Doom theme song. Thank you all for being a part of our bustling tavern. We invite players both old and new to join us for our 10th anniversary next March. But we have so much to enjoy before then, so let's talk about what's happening right now in Hearthstone and in Battlegrounds. We're setting the stage for a standoff in Hearthstone's upcoming expansion, Showdown in the Badlands, which takes place in Azeroth's Wild West. Two strangers will cross paths, an outlaw and a lone ranger. Though they may not know it now, together, they are destined for a grand adventure.
Hearthstone's player base has been dying pretty steadily, Just Rob TV. I don't say that with any vindictive joy or happiness, it's just a fact.
Trying my best to do some good.
What's really a shame of it is Hearthstone, and I mean this with sincerity, came this close to being my favorite card game. And then they just kind of stopped producing content I wanted and shifted completely to a different mindset. And that's been true for years now.
Ha! You don't know who you're messing with.
Okay, that's cute.
They knew the townsfolk were up to something sinister.
Let's move!
Right behind you!
Honestly, probably Gwent. Dr. Winter. Or Pathfinder, or, oh god, what's the Witcher game that's a Gwent game? But I can't think of the name of it. We've actually streamed it.
Oh, nuts. As it turned out, I had the right backup waiting for me.
Was it Thronebreaker? I think it was Thronebreaker. Yeah.
Let's do this.
You got it, partner.
Yeah, so Thronebreaker would be at the top.
I didn't intentionally pursue leadership.
I'm gonna punch ya!
And then probably just Gwent in general. And honestly, then Hearthstone. Oh, before you ask, yes, it's vetoed, and no, I won't play it again.
Let's show these fine folks some Badlands hospitality.
Well, looking for a standoff? Careful, it's against me.
I enjoy making decks in MTG. I don't actually enjoy playing MTG.
That's right. Our beloved Reno Jackson and Elise Starseeker are getting an origin tale. They'll work together to
Jesus Christ. Listen to that noise. Listen to that crowd.
mining operation. Singleton decks are returning. With cards like Reno Lone Ranger, Hearthstone's first ever neutral hero card. We'll talk more about him at the What's Next panel later today, where we'll also be revealing a motherload of exciting new cards. You can get your hands on them and more.
Yeah, no, I do not reserve any ire for this individual. She is like the 5th person so far that should not be on stage that was shoved up on stage.
Now, I know you may be thinking, a new expansion. That's a lot of new cards, on top of 5 sets that
Usually it's like 40 on average.
And if you're a new player or you're coming back after a break, that can be a little overwhelming. So we have been hard at
Exactly,
work
Blake Jamal.
to make it easier than ever to join us. We're excited to announce catch-up packs. These are game
God! Oh, that's so painful! That pause! That pause! And no reaction! You can hear 2 people in the background, maybe 3.
50 cards from a single catch-up pack.
Oh, I feel so bad for this woman.
The cards you receive
I know, Magister. This is terrifying.
ready to play and constructed. All of our players are going to get catch-up packs to open once you log in, and for all of you here at BlizzCon in person, or those of you at
She's just following the script at this point, Mr. Red. She is right. She is locked onto the rails of her script, and she is following it, even when it's failing her. That's her coping mechanism. That's how she's dealing with it.
anyone who's been away for a while, all of these packs can add up to hundreds of cards. We'll also be adding quite a few of them into pre-purchase bundles for Showdown in the Badlands. We hope to see all of you getting some amazing cards and filling in or beginning your Hearthstone collection on November 14th.
There they go. There they go. Oh, man.
All right.
Did you see the polite clapping?
I feel like we might have some Battlegrounds fans out here. Yeah. So you might remember then that the last time we were all together at BlizzCon, we unveiled Battlegrounds. What started as an experiment became a huge part of the game and a fun way to play in the tavern. But playing together is what inspired the new mode we're debuting here today.
Battleground Z's.
Lobby is great, but ultimately, you play against each other. What if you could actually play teamed up alongside each other?
Against what? Because team battles aren't that engaging, lady.
We're pleased to announce a truly cooperative way to play. Battlegrounds duos.
Okay.
with a shared health pool, team combat, and sending cards back and forth between teammates. Now you can fight with your friends instead of against them. We were inspired by the Battleground community's creativity, finding ways to team up and help each other achieve top 4. So now we're setting an official table for you and your partner to take.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is this two-headed dragon mode? Or two-headed giant?
For those of you here in person, grab a friend or make a new one, because you can try Battlegrounds duos here at BlizzCon.
You see, that's the problem. If this is just team mode, that's neat. But if this is legitimate co-op against the enemy, then that's awesome.
We're planning to launch this new way to play for everyone early next year, and you can learn more later today and see
Like, that might actually get me reinterested back in the game.
in Battlegrounds.
Yeah, I should probably mention, not to be too harsh, the Warcraft CCG, not Hearthstone, the thing that predates Hearthstone, had a co-op versus the deck mode. It was awesome. It was pretty much the reason I liked the Warcraft CCG.
Come duel a dev and challenge the Hearthstone team.
And then Hearthstone didn't really do that.
If you want to catch up after 4 years away, pull up a chair by the hearth. We'll see you in the tavern.
Unlikely, but please, go recover. Get your coffee or latte, whatever you need to recover from that. Oh, and this is Warcraft Rumble. Because for those of you who know where Warcraft Rumble, just like Hearthstone, is in lore in Azeroth. So people actually buy these figurines in the setting and play them at little table, like pinball tables kind of a thing. As I've mentioned, I've already played a little bit of it. I'm not a big fan. It could be worse. They really lean on that pink-haired gnome girl. She's actually the mascot of the entire game. Like, she's all the emotes and the tutorializer, and she's the one in the CGI cutscenes. Yeah, she's honestly pretty irritating. Some of the cutscenes have been okay. Like, the visual style is meant to make them look like they're, oh, what's it called? Foam. Like foam figurines. Which they do a good job of emulating. There's some good texturing on them to kind of give it that vibe, that kind of porous look to it. I should mention Onyxia is the current endgame boss of Rumble. You have to get quite a ways in to be able to fight her, though.
From Warcraft Rumble, executive producer Vic Sarath.
Yay, a Warcraft mobile game. How joyous.
You gotta love Onyxia. She didn't even use a deep breath there. Hello, BlizzCon!
How's that for you, Ross?
Last year, the team and I announced we were working on a brand new Warcraft game. A way to bring Warcraft with you wherever you are,
Rotten hell.
wherever you go. And as you just saw, we've had a
Seriously.
ton of fun and poured a lot of love.
You notice they haven't even shown you gameplay yet.
Warcraft Rumble is an action strategy game with a deep PvE campaign, a dynamic PvP mode, and so much.
I disagree with that deep
It's a game
statement.
filled with familiar faces. You'll mix and match miniature versions of characters from the Warcraft universe.
You know one of my favorite features of Warcraft Rumble? When you do a mission, you gain some experience for your unit so they level up and get more stats. Cool.
Ever wanted to see Jaina command an army?
The catch is you don't determine who gets experience. If I have done tests, I have actually done playtesting on this this morning because I was curious. The way it works is if you send out, like, for example, just one type of unit, a whole map, that doesn't guarantee that unit gains experience. In fact, if you don't send out a unit, it doesn't guarantee they don't get experience either. It randomly selects one of your units, one of your figurines, and gives a random figurine experience. Please think about that for a second.
Some very familiar locations. You'll fight to control resources, capture towers, and eventually defeat the boss or player at the other end. Speaking of bosses, each one has their own unique mechanics. So you'll have to adapt the
That's
strategy
true.
to the threats you'll face as you battle through the campaign and beyond. Our goal was to
It might not be random. I wasn't able to do enough tests to really get that kind of empirical data going. Only that who you send has nothing to do with who is picked. Oh, also, the mission has nothing to do with who is picked either.
To make this game, we wanted to offer a variety of challenges, no matter.
Now, I know I've sounded very negative about this game. Really, really negative about this game. I need to mention something on top of this.
Focused on during the beta.
It's not as bad as it could be. And I know that's just such a low bar, but it does need to be said. If you have any interest in Warcraft Rumble, go for it. Try it out, see what you think of it, try it for yourself. The tutorial sucks, I'm just going to warn you about that.
And the hard work of our team.
But you can see the game itself when you get there. Yeah, it's not Warcraft Immortal, exactly, yet.
Let's take a look at the result.
That yet is important. Are you going to show the actual gameplay or just the frickin' cinematic again? That sounds like a song I should mute. So we're gonna mute that. It's okay, all you're missing is some popular song of whatever. I have to go grab lunch in just a second. Yep, this is the real Warcraft 4. I mean, all of the signs of this being a scummy mobile game are there, except for the fact that the shop isn't there yet. Like, I'll give you a breakdown if you really want me to later. Alright. I have to miss out on this. I'll be right back. Tell me what I miss.
You know, I gotta admit, it's pretty cool watching that video and just thinking about how far we've come since last year. At this point, we just can't wait for all of you to hop in and play. And I mean, we literally can't wait. That's why we've made Warcraft Rumble available to download and play right now. This is such a huge moment for us, and we're so all excited to have you join us. And for those of you in the audience with me today, let's bring down the Wi-Fi together. You know I'm kidding, right? Please don't bring down the Wi-Fi. I'm in a lot of trouble once I get off of here. Whether you're a veteran of Azeroth or just have a deep love for strategy games, there's a lot to enjoy here. We've got a huge campaign with over 70 bosses. And for those of you looking for an especially unique challenge, we even have a heroic campaign with an extra layer of difficulty that we cooked up ourselves. We've got maps with verticality, capture points, resources, traps, and all kinds of other contraptions. Each map was lovingly handcrafted by our team and is its own unique puzzle. But how you choose to solve that puzzle is completely up to you. And when you're in the mood for a solo dungeon, we've got you covered there as well. Dungeons in Warcraft Rumble are intense, 3-mission gauntlets through places like Normagon and the Dead Mines, where you equip your armies with game-changing relics until your run is over. Or jump into PvP and duke it out with other players on maps inspired by some of the most legendary maps and battles.
Have I missed anything?
In World of Warcraft.
Also, be right back.
You can even join a guild.
Empty text, Rumble's not an empty text. Box text, solo dungeons, a feature, if you like that.
I can only say
One person cheered, Jesus Christ. I missed nothing. I'll be right back.
That's just what we have in the game right now. We have so much more coming. For starters, we're going to be releasing a new mini with each season. And that also starts right now. Season 1 of Warcraft Rumble is live, and the latest addition to our growing roster of minis is none other than the Banshee Queen herself, Sylvanas. We're also working on even more ways for you to play with or against your friends, and that includes the biggest challenge in all of Rumble, raids. Make sure to join our Warcraft Rumblings panel later today to hear all about raids and what else we have in store for the future of this game. Now, Blizzcon, before I go, I just wanted to let you know, the team and I, many of whom are here in Anaheim with us right now, we love playing strategy games. And we set out to make a game that harkens back to our RTS roots, where Warcraft began almost 30 years ago. It is really made out of a genuine love for Warcraft by people with deep roots in the universe. No matter how you like to play, there's something for everyone to love in Warcraft Rumble. Thank you so much, Blizzcon. Enjoy the chaos, and we'll see you in game.
Please welcome Executive Producer, World of Warcraft, Holly Longdale.
Wow. What's up, BlizzCon? Oh, I'm so excited to see you all here. This is fantastic. Well, can you believe we've been playing World of Warcraft for almost 20 years? You know, 2004 was a while ago, right? You know, some of us, we waited in those lines for those midnight releases and got our discs. Yeah! And we raced home to install those WoW discs one by one. Across nearly 2 decades, players all over the world have taken part in the stories of Jaina, Sylvanas, Arthas, and Thrall, and of course, so many others. And together, we've jumped through the portal into Outland. We sailed off into Northrend, and we watched Sargeras stab the world with that sword. During that time, gaming has changed, and you have changed, and so have we, particularly in the past year. The entire team across both Modern and Classic have embraced their communities. We are truly listening to your voices and taking action. My friends at BlizzCon, now is the perfect time to prepare to close chapters, open new ones, and double down on why we all fell in love with World of Warcraft in the first place. With that in mind, let's get to it. As many of you know, WoW Classic was born out of the community's passion. And of course, most of you know that still drives us today. Like just in August, inspired by our community, we released Classic Hardcore. So, in Hardcore, you only get one life. And if you die, you may laugh, you may cry, you may have to replace the keyboard, but you go again. We've loved watching you take on the challenge or die trying. And because the hardcore community has asked, the team is planning to add a new way to play hardcore early next year. And last month in Wrath Classic, we released the Fall of the Lich King patch. And while there's still more to come in Wrath, earlier this year, we looked at your feedback to think about where are we gonna go next. We read through a lot, and I mean a lot of your feedback on social media forums, and we sent out surveys to our players. And here at BlizzCon, we're happy to announce Cataclysm is coming. And it's
Why?
with hashtag changes based on your feedback, just like you'd expect from Classic. So now, let's jump into the Wayback Machine and get a reminder of all things Cataclysm.
There is no hope, no future. All life is doomed.
Sons and daughters of Gilneas, hold the barricade! Do not give them an inch!
I was gonna say, this was actually throwing me until I realized this is that one guy who does custom trailers on YouTube with in-game assets. I was wondering why they were why this was the way it is. It's not really Blizzard cinematic quality. It's this dude who does his own thing. Her own thing, their own thing. I don't know. It's good stuff. That's neither here nor there. It's like they reached out to the dude and was like, or keep saying dude. They reached out to the person. They're like, hey, give us a video hitting Cataclysm.
I am Deathwing, the Destroyer, the end of all things. I am the Cataclysm.
Get ready, my friends, because I love the passion, by the way. Get ready, my friends, because the road to Deathwing's destruction is coming in the first half of next year. All right. Now, over the past 4 years of Classic, we've watched you master the vanilla experience, and we've loved it. So much, in fact, that we thought we'd add some unique flavor with a seasonal note and a dash of discovery. Season of Discovery is vanilla WoW with a spicy twist. You're going to discover new secrets as you scour the world and find class-altering abilities. Have you ever wondered what it might be like to be a tanking warlock? Or take on the role of a mage healer? In Season of Discovery, you can. The season is going to launch with an initial level cap of 25. And when you hit that max level, you'll be met with the brand new level 25 endgame. You'll discover a brand new 10-player Black Fathom Deeps raid with new and reimagined bosses, mechanics, and of course, rewards. Then, after a couple of months, we'll raise the level cap a bit. You'll find even more endgame content, and so it will go. If you're here at BlizzCon, you can play the Black Fathom Deeps raid in the Warcraft Hall. So, if you love Classic or just a little intrigued about what exactly a Warlock tank can do, go check it out.
No thanks, I played Pandaria. I know what a Warlock tank can do.
You won't have to wait long to play. Because we want you to discover all of the secrets together, there will be no public testing. WoW Classic Season of Discovery launches in a few short weeks on November 30th.
Second best expansion, Fulcrum. Wrong direction.
For more information on the Season of Discovery and Cataclysm, don't miss the Classic panel this afternoon. All right, now it's time to talk to my Dragon Riders in Modern WoW.
Yeah, sorry.
Our team remains committed to giving you meaningful game updates about every 8 weeks with more content sprinkled in between. We really want Azeroth to feel alive and the home you want to come back to no matter how you play. Our next major update, Guardians of the Dream, is going live in just 5.
Minor spoilers.
I want to give a shout out to my elves. It is finally our time. 1 week later, Season 3 will start with the last raid of the expansion, Amirdrasil, the Dream's Hope. There we will have our final showdown with Farak and defend our new world tree. But fear not, that's not the end of our time in the Dragon Isles. There's a lot more to come in Dragonflight that will serve as both the epilogue of this story and the bridge to our next one. Like I said earlier, we are evolving. We are changing our approach to this big, beautiful game and how we look ahead to new chapters. BlizzCon, it's time for a new adventure, one that has grown from the very seeds of what captured our hearts when we first set foot in Azeroth. For veteran players, the last 20 years have led us to this. And for those who have yet to join us, now is the time.
I don't like the material, Evo.
Who better
You're good otherwise, though.
talk about the first step in this journey?
Then Metzen. Yeah, get him on the stage. We know what's going to happen. That's probably the first real cheer the audience has given the entire night.
Then someone who carved the path in the first place.
You notice it was unprompted, too.
Please welcome my friend and the executive creative director of the Warcraft.
It just happened in the middle of her dialogue. Oh, man. He's getting on in the ears, isn't he? All right, Metzen, what do you got? You have no idea how much is sitting on your shoulders, dude. Yeah, notice people actually stood up and applauded.
What up, BlizzCon?
Oh, man.
Horde, where you at? Alliance! BlizzCon as one!
You know, I'm gonna go ahead and admit, that's already caught me. God, he's got charisma.
Thank you.
God damn.
It is, thank you guys.
I know, the difference is insane.
Strange trip to get back to this spot, I tell you that. It has been interesting this past year, being back under the hood of World of Warcraft. It has reminded me of a few things. One,
I love Warcraft.
You should. You built it. Sorry.
Number 2, you know what? I really missed this work. And number 3, on the real, it feels amazing to be back and part of this Blizzard family again.
That's true. That's true, Dark Prince Revan.
As Holly said a bit ago, next year is the 20th anniversary of World of Warcraft. I can't even believe it. Whatever. How many of y'all have been playing from the beginning?
Yo. Since Alpha. That's me.
I love you, Prison. So given that... What was that? Doesn't matter. We started thinking, so what next? Right? What expansion hook, what single storyline could possibly match such a historic occasion? We started thinking about, well, I did, the good old days, right? And some of those early mythic ideas that kind of established the background of Warcraft. Started thinking about even some of the newer ideas that have played out more recently, but still in a way feel a little unresolved. And in the mix of all that stuff, in the mix of all those ideas, particular things like, what the hell has Magni actually been babbling about all these years? Was the thing that he came to warn us about in Battle for Azeroth, did it actually play out? Or is there potentially something darker still looming on the horizon? I don't know. Will there eventually be an apocalyptic confrontation between the forces of the light and the void? Talk to me, Blizzcon. I'll tell you what, for nothing, my pally Maine, I'm all in on that kind of thing if it happens. It's gonna happen. And really the big question for all the marbles, what have the Titans actually been doing since the dawn of civilization?
Yeah, they're going full void.
What is the real purpose of all of their cute little installations slammed into the side of the planet? Do we know everything we need to know about their real intentions for our world? Just saying. BlizzCon. All of these hooks and 100 more. 68, carry the 2. A bunch more. All cooking in the pot. Started to reveal a storyline. Something epic. How epic? Real epic. A storyline that in almost every way feels like the culmination of the first 20 years of our storytelling.
Don't do that. Legion already finished the story.
Provided we do our jobs, we do the thing that will vector us into the next 20 years of adventure.
I wouldn't be surprised, Colgrim.
BlizzCon. Are you with me, BlizzCon? We call this storyline the World Soul Saga.
That tracks.
The World Soul Saga is so epic, as we covered. It cannot be contained within any single expansion. It is built to play out over multiple expansions over the next few years.
Okay. Okay, I'm actually on board with that idea. It's something I've been saying they should be doing for years, to be honest with you.
Having said that, we are working on multiple ways to deliver this adventure to you a little faster than you're used to.
Okay, that's dangerous.
We're not going to get into it at this BlizzCon, forgive me. But keep your ears peeled. I assure you, we are moving with purpose. And the last thing we really want is for y'all to have your grandkids controlling your mouse and your keyboard trying to wrap this thing up. So, it's coming. Also, given the scale of this monster, we have decided to change it up today. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Instead of just debuting your next expansion all on its lonesome, we have decided to give you a glimpse at your next 3 expansion sets.
Okay, I'll be honest, you've got my attention.
Does this meet with your approval, BlizzCon?
And that is a crowd that is sincere.
My friends, I'm going to warn you.
This is a disaster. How's this going to work?
Actually, I'm just kidding. They ain't mild. Buckle up. Are you ready, BlizzCon?
Hit me.
The first part of the World Soul Saga and your 10th expansion is called World of Warcraft: The War Within. In this chapter, you will be descending into the heart of Azeroth itself, exploring new subterranean kingdoms, and engaging with ancient cultures like the Earthen and the terrifying Nerubians.
Oh, yes! Sorry.
But as the forces of darkness close in around our precious world soul, that's you, will be called to do what you always do, which is dispense indiscriminate justice upon all those who got it coming. Talk to me, BlizzCon!
The Nerubians had a cameo in the Wrath expansion, Von Falkenstein. That's kind of it.
The second part of the World Soul Saga is called World of Warcraft Midnight. In this chapter, you will be returning, ready, to the old world, to the fabled lands of Quel'Thalas. There, the forces of the Void have invaded Azeroth, intent on snuffing out the light of the Sunwell and plunging the world into darkness and fear. You will not only help reunify the scattered elven tribes of Azeroth, but you will make your stand with the forces of the light and banish the shadow forever.
Okay, you're catching my attention, I'm not gonna lie.
Of course, BlizzCon, it is Azeroth. Things may not go to plan. Things may just spiral wildly out of control, leading us to the third part of the World Soul Saga. World of Warcraft: The Last Titan.
Interesting.
In this chapter, you will again be returning to the old world, this time to the wintry lands of Northrend. And there, at Ulduar, you will bear witness to the return of the Titans to Azeroth. And there, you will uncover a vast conspiracy, one that stretches throughout the history of the world.
Okay, you lost me.
That will challenge everything you think you know about the Titans, their intentions, and the true nature of Azeroth itself.
Yeah, no, you lost me.
In time, my friend, in time. And it's called Silithus. There you go.
Yeah, the Titans have never been good. That's
my hope, our dear hope, is that you can see when it comes to WoW storytelling, we ain't screwing around.
Prove it.
We are playing for all the marbles. We are working to establish a thundering heartbeat for this franchise. Now. Now, BlizzCon. Hearken to me. Always wanted to say that. Thank you. Whether you are a current player, and I'm going to bet that most of you are.
I actually am.
Or maybe you jumped off the WoW train a few expansions ago. Now is the time to come home. Now is the time to pull on your boots, pick up your broadsword or your favorite glowy staff, and get in this fight. Friends, Azeroth needs her defenders now more than ever. Now, in a few moments, we are going to give you a deeper look at the war within. But before we do that, I want to leave you with a little something to chew on. I want to remind you all that sometimes very epic things can begin with small, heartfelt moments. What
you've always been best at
is one of those moments. And with that, BlizzCon. Proud defenders of Azeroth! Let the World Soul Saga begin!
It is astonishing what that man accomplished with nothing. No trailers, no nothing. Yeah, Anduin's pieced out at Dragonflight, and has been for about 4 years at this point. Yeah, 3 art mock-ups. CGI team continues to be bonkers good. So that's Khadgar. Right? Nope, I'm wrong.
Tell me we don't get to hide. Is that it?
You needed time. We stayed away. But time by itself heals nothing.
You didn't just come here for me. It's the visions. You've seen them.
I suspect many have lately. Something Someone is calling out from the heart of the world. Like a voice from a dream. Something dark is coming, Anduin. The world needs your light again. My son.
I am not that person anymore. I have no light. Not after what I've seen. Not after what I've done.
You are not your past, Anduin. I trust you.
They're getting worse. Look, whatever's coming, I'll stand with you. Of course I will. But we were drawn here by the voice. Who is it, Thrall? Who's calling out to us?
I'm not sure yet. But that sword was aimed at someone.
About frickin' time. It really is funny how much WoW's story continues to be better if you just eject BFA and Shadowlands from it. Legion ends. We concluded. We beat Sargeras. There's a giant sword. We have a breather expansion with Dragonflight. And now we're following through on it.
I do have to say, though,
Christ.
Every time I see that cinematic, and I've seen it many times, it gets me right in my heart. It feels like a new beginning, and it feels like coming home. And we are so excited about where we are going. And now that you've seen or heard the overview for the World So Saga, let's talk about the war within. As we all gather and explore beneath the surface, we'll find an ancient Nerubian civilization. They will be led by someone we were first introduced to in Legion, Xal'atath, a harbinger of the Void. The Void brings destruction and darkness that threatens all light in our world. The last time we saw Xal'atath, she promised we would meet again. And it turns out she was right. And while Anduin, Thrall, and others share the same visions emanating from the heart of the world, some are seeing something quite different.
My visions are not the same as the others. No radiance, no song. Just the shadow.
Oh, that's right. Void Elves exist. Remember that?
From below.
Aj-Kahet looks amazing. As it always did. By the way, you remember them mentioning... Oh, hey, there's the World Soul. Did you remember them mentioning, what the hell's a delve? That they're going to try to speed up the production cycle? I bet you money they're going to emulate FF14's approach. The patterned content leapfrogging that they do. What do you want to bet? And yes, dragon flaying is awesome. Absolutely, hell yes. Yeah, what's a warband? If they stick at Brigwood, a lot of this is going to be stick the landing, let's be honest.
Rests upon the edge.
Different types of content come out every patch, J. Palmer, and there's a patch every 3 months or 4 months pretty consistently. Earthen, Mr. Red. Earthen are the new allied race.
In the War Within, alongside beautiful, unique underground zones, we will have challenging dungeons and raids and some new features, too, that are built to last. If you like exploring on your own with a couple of friends or family, we have delves. These are a variety of bite-sized experiences for 1 to 5 players that will offer endgame rewards.
1 to 5. Good.
You may also find in your delve a familiar character who'd be willing to fight alongside you. And if you're like me and you have...
Are they borrowing the trust system? If so, good.
With this feature, you could treat all of your characters like family and share banks, reputations, transmogs.
More BOA. Always good. The game's already very heavily into BOA. Let's go more into it.
We're also introducing a new layer of customization for your class specs with hero talents. You might want to take your character down the path of a Dark Ranger, let's say, or a Farseer, and more.
That's questionable. We'll see what they do with that. Because you can kind of already do that, to be honest. We'll see. We'll see. The talents are already amazing.
Meet the Earthen Dwarves, and you'll be able to unlock them as our new allied race.
Bind on account, Blade of all.
I mean, who doesn't love a dwarf?
It means all the stuff is unlocked for your account, not your character.
There's so much more to talk about, so please join the...
So if I get an item on one character, I can use it on another, either in terms of cosmetic or a mount or something like that.
What I can tell you, though, is that the call to get into the fight to save our world will ring out when the War Within releases next year. And lastly, I sincerely want to say, we are so excited to begin this new journey with you. And from our hearts to yours, thank you for bringing our world to life.
Sorry, I ripped my heart out years ago.
And now, with his own note of thanks, Mike Ibarra.
Oh, we got to go back to the fish person.
Thank you to all the teams who presented today. There really is so much to look forward over.
Is that it? Are we wrapping up?
And this is only the beginning. I can't wait to walk the halls of all of Anaheim with all of you. It is true.
God, his face is still wrong.
Blizzard team and our players. BlizzCon, be great to each other and enjoy the show.
All right, I'm gonna kind of mute because I was gonna say this is gonna be like the cinematic thing. That's whatever. Let's unpack a little bit. Yeah, no, like Guild Wars 2 is another good example of a game that is almost entirely BOA, and it's a good thing. You can trade equipment across alts for the most part. There are some exceptions to that. So more BOA is almost always better for a game with alts. Frankly, I think FF14 could learn that lesson too. And WoW has been delving more and more into BOA for years. I just explained this. BOA means bind on account. It means if you have something on one character, you have it on another. That's the fundamental difference, as opposed to the alternative, which is when you have something on a character and that's it, right? WoW has been very, 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 very alt-friendly for years. So, yeah, like, mounts, achievements, some achievements, transmog, toys, I'm trying to remember what else. There's several things in WoW that are already BOA. More better, right? And they're talking about actually making it so equipment, like they're talking about shared bank and stuff like that. So imagine being able to get gear and literally being able to give it to an alt. They already kind of dipped into that a little bit with the heirloom system, but that's not quite the same thing. Although heirlooms, that's another one. That's another example of that. And now they're advertising for the BlizzCon pass, which I'm not buying. Delves, we'll see. We've known they've had the tech for that kind of scaling party size thing for a while. If nothing else, the thing that everybody hated and one of my favorite features of Shadowlands has already proved that. That would be... I suddenly can't think of the name of the damn place. The damn tower in the Maw. Torghast. Torghast. Which is awesome, by the way. It's gonna get absolutely shotgunned with positives when we get there, just so you know. But yeah, the Torghast already has the ability to scale based on your party size. And that makes sense since it's pretty much based on the same tech they've already been using for a while, since Legion actually is when they first invented that tech. Okay. That's a lot to unpack. It is legitimately amusing how much Metzen just controlled that audience. He took a little bit longer than I probably would have, but he ran that convention hall. Did you check that? He wasn't just announcing. He was like, hey, and he would build them up, pause, get a little joke in, pull the crowd in, you know, respond to people. Just kind of injecting his own off-script stuff. God damn. That's a hard act to follow, which is funny, because someone then did. And yeah, he did all of that with just 3, like, random mock-up images behind him, which is insane. The fact that he could manage so much with so little. I hate to gush, but goddamn. There's a reason why I say Metzen is like the charisma guy for Blizzard, and always has been. Like I said, if you get someone who can go on stage, who's good at it, that's how you put on stage. And yeah, the contrast helps accentuate it. I mean, even Phil Spencer was like a breath of fresh air after Ybarra, right? Anyways, I'm getting off topic. So, Diablo 4 is trying to catch up to D3 and trying a little bit too hard to suck the dick of D2. Overwatch, I'm just gonna nope right out of that completely. And then we have, God, what else was there? They talked about Warcraft Rumble, which I apparently didn't miss anything for. Like, I saw your comments. Thank you for sharing the bullet points of what I missed. It sounded like a whole lot of nothing. Hearthstone. Probably not interested, so we're just going to call that one a wash, too. At least they showed off some close. I felt so bad for that woman. I really did. The audience was just noping out of that completely. I agree with you, Von Falkenstein. I think D4 is not going to catch D3. I'm actually kind of sad because that's not how that should be, but it's probably true. D4 just had way too troubled of a launch. Yeah, they brought in one Denjo director, the Overwatch art director. He was cool. And that's it, other than the new WoW expansions. And I can't believe this, but now that the emotion has died down a little bit, when my brain starts engaging, I'm looking at what they announced for WoW, and I'm thinking, you didn't really tell us a lot, did you? There's 3 expansions coming. He gave us a very, very vague, like, spread. Oh, I need to talk about Cataclysm. I'll get back to that in a second. He gave us a vague spread of each expansion, which is good. You don't want to use too much. But did you notice he told us very specific things that infer all we need to really know there? The mere fact that we're going to be going back to previous existing zones in order to continue the storyline is actually a good thing. It also proves that, once again, they're copying off of FF14. Not a bad thing. FF14 reuses old zones all the frickin' time. for their MSQ, as it should. One of WoW's biggest flaws in a lot of its MSQ for years has been the fact that once a zone is done, you never really go back there. There's exceptions to that. But for the most part, when you go back to, you don't go back to a zone. You finish a zone and then you move on. So the reason I bring all that up is that could lend itself towards different types of storytelling. And that's good, because if you're paying attention, they have done that before in Legion with the artifacts and the class halls. And that was some of the better stuff that WoW has ever put out, in my opinion. So, potential, cool. Announcing 3 expansions at the same time is a very bold maneuver, and makes perfect sense for them to do at this point in time. They know their reputation. They know WoW is on an uprise right now, which is good. Dragonflight is actually a good expansion. I can go ahead and say that, and it is something that has been doing well financially and in terms of player base. But Blizzard as a company has basically never stopped tanking. You know, there is a continuous with regards to their rep and their approach. So throwing support behind WoW and trying to get this kind of a thing is something that makes sense. The problem is now they've effectively overpromised. If they can actually follow through on this, that's going to be a really big question, because I have no idea. Whether or not they're going to be able to maintain a content schedule and whether or not this is burying the lead too much, all of that's a huge question mark. And I don't know. I am very, very curious what they're going to do specifically, not in broad strokes, but like actual implementation. Like I said, maybe they're just copying the FF14 model, which, once again, is not a bad thing. FF14's leapfrog approach is a great way to produce content for an MMO. For those of you who don't know where, to explain that a little bit more, you got, like, these storylines and you got these storylines. Basically, this type of content and this type of content. Your team and your team are working on this type of content, and your team are working on this type of content. There's some bleed over between them, if you're paying attention, but for the most part, it's different teams. And so then, because of the fact that you're leapfrogging over each other, each team has a nice big chunk of about 8 months' time in order to develop your content before you have to start working on the next thing, right? Yeah, the leapfrog approach is very logical and makes a lot of sense. It is still a very intense work schedule, but it is something that works, and for a good reason. So we'll see. That's true. Very true, Colgrim. Because from our perspective, we get a new patch with new content every 4 months. From their perspective, they get twice the time to work on what they're needing to work on. So it's good for us and it's good for the developers, the actual in the trenches developers. So that's like a plus there, right? Exactly, Pillars of Snow. Exactly. So we'll see. I mentioned I'd talk about WoW Classic Cataclysm. I apologize for the why. That's my fault. I've actually already gone on record saying that I'm okay with them releasing a classic version of each expansion for what is effectively just historical purposes. If you really want to experience Legion as Legion, then, hey, do it, right? Because you can't really experience Legion as Legion now, even though all the content is there. So, shrug. Them continuing into Kata, though, that was the big question mark. We all knew that they were going to go up to Wrath. That was the moment they started WoW Classic. We knew they were going to go up to Wrath. Whether or not they were going to go forwards to Kata was the really big question mark, and so they have now announced that. So from that point, we can now infer they're going to keep going all the way up. They're probably never going to stop with the WoW Classic thing, and that's fine. Even if for no other reason, for historical purposes, cool. Correct, Colrum, although not the biggest. So we'll see. The Seasons of Discovery thing is a huge we'll see. That could go in all kinds of directions. There's a lot of ways that could go. So that's a gigantic asterisk. It could be great. That kind of more live, more dynamic, more mutated, more screw. I call it the playground. We talked about this extensively early last year during the FF14 review. Because one of the biggest problems MMOs have is they kind of can't keep introducing new cool stuff, but they also have to keep introducing new cool stuff. They have to. Otherwise, people are just going to bleed out. Their solution back in BFA was the wrong one, to be very fundamentally blunt about that. Just taking away the artifacts and taking away all that new content and stuff was a terrible idea. The concept of the playground is you get a little side area or a little side section or a little side mode, something that's not really part of main progression, and you put all the cool, fun stuff there, right? Stuff that doesn't really carry forward, stuff that doesn't have to be balanced. The only focus is to make things fun. That's the concept of the playground, right? And WoW has dipped its toes into the playground concept a few times. Torghast is a good example of that. And there's a few others that we've seen over the years. A little bit, yeah, Von Falkenstein. That's kind of the vibe I got as well. Yeah, Boja over in FF14 is a good example of the playground concept. Here, just have fun with, like, cross builds or whatever it is that you need or want. Does this make me want to put off the WoW review? Actually, quite the contrary. Getting the WoW review in before whatever the next expansion is probably a really good idea, I would say. We'll see, though. I think what I might push for is, and I know this is going to sound strange, doing the WoW review up to either Legion or skipping BFA and Shadowlands. I don't know. I'm kind of debating. There's a lot of malleability into how we specifically implement that. I'll think about it. Because, and I hate to keep pointing this out, Legion dovetails so nicely into Dragonflight, which then falls almost immediately into, what's the new expansion? I've already forgotten its name. Battle Within, I think it is. Something like that. Those other two expansions, War Within, that BFA and Shadowlands really are best served by just not existing at all. Don't mistake me, there's individual zones and individual quests, individual characters that are good there, but like the expansions are just a huge misstep and actually feel like, well, I'll use a direct example. How many of you have watched the Star Trek movies? For those of you who have, you already know where I'm going with this. Star Trek 2 to 3 to 4 to 6 is one story. One overall arc that seamlessly fits together. But the moment you shove 5 in the middle there, it doesn't work. Does that answer you, Jay Palmer? If it doesn't, well, then I'm not going to bother going into it right now, because that's going to take a while. This is an extremely ballsy move, Mr. Red. This is daring. And daring is not necessarily good. In fact, daring is actually very dangerous. And that's why I'm trying not to get too hyped here. Don't mistake me. I'm excited. I'm just going to be 100% honest here. You got me. I'm excited. But they need to stick the landing. They need to actually successfully roll a 20 on the dice, right? I agree with that vulgarity. I think that too many companies in all of media, in all of entertainment media, try to play it too safe for the sake of money, for the sake of shareholders and executives and money people who want to make a guaranteed return on investment. And I think that's a bad thing. Not just because of the usual reasons, but I do legitimately, philosophically, believe that that diminishes society as a whole, that it diminishes fiction and culture as a whole, right? So I do agree that seeing a large-scale company, which functionally this is Microsoft at this point, making this kind of a call is a good thing. We'll see. Now, with the advantage of hindsight, Metzen coming back makes a lot more sense now, too. I bet you money, because of how these things go, this had to have been in development probably last year, is when they probably started development on War Within. What that means is what probably happened was they had probably already reached out when the Microsoft acquisition was pretty, everyone was pretty clear it was going to go through, right? I mean, I called that myself June of last year, and I was only off by a week. So they probably looked at this and they said, all right, we can afford to take a few other chances. Bobby's getting out. The board's going to shift. Why don't we push this new idea? And I guarantee you someone in the office said, we need to call Metzen. With the advantage of hindsight, I imagine that's how this rolled down. Because we've all been asking this whole time, how did Metzen get re-involved with Blizzard? I think they reached out to him. I think they were like, all right, here's the deal. We're getting this extra backing. We're getting rid of some of... There's going to be a shakeup of the upper echelons. This is moving around. What's it going to take to bring you back and work on WoW again? Work on Warcraft again? And I guarantee you he's been involved in the story process since before he announced his coming back this year. Sorry. Hold on. That's a good question, Von Falkenstein. Unfortunately, I don't know. But again, speculatively, with what we've seen right now, I know she's so happy. Pillars know. Speculatively, with what we know right now, I imagine they have kind of given Metzen a blank check on how to take the story. And I think that's going to be a good thing and a bad thing. I think it's going to be a net good thing. But I do think it's going to be a good and a bad thing. We've said this before. Metzen is a great writer who is in desperate need of a good editor. We said that today, actually. So, that's my read. That's my read. That's my vibe. Yeah, a positively mixed bag. Exactly. It's certainly going to be better than the crap we had in BFA and Shadowlands. Am I right? I think he actually started work at them. It depends on how you define that, Jay Palmer. I would bet money that Metzen has been working on WoW since last year. Guaranteed. How much of that has been official? That's a little bit more debatable. But there's ways to hire someone without really putting it on the books, if you know what I mean. So, shrug. Do I feel this arc-type storytelling is built around a firm conclusion and gives any credibility to a WoW 2 in the next 5 years? Actually, yes. WoW as a game is honestly astonishing under the hood, but they are really starting to push the boundaries of what the engine can do. There's only so far they can push that game. Starfield is a good example of this. Starfield is running off of an engine that's based 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 off of an engine at this point. I think that's the full trail. I might have missed a step or two in there. And you can tell Starfield, whether it's good or bad, that's not the point of this, is definitely feeling the limits of that engine. Same problem. The WoW engine is brilliant, honestly, and perfect at what it does, but it is still based on an engine, based on an engine, based on an engine from 20 goddamn years ago, right? And even that engine is actually based on the Warcraft 3 engine. So, a WoW 2 makes a lot of sense for a lot of reasons. Even if you ignore, gameplay and creativity and all that, from a fundamental financial perspective, the backing and support, the upkeep, the maintenance of keeping WoW going is probably is a slowly escalating problem, for lack of a better way to put that. Not that I'm aware of, Jay Palmer. No, we'll come back to that, Ross. We'll come back to that. It's just there's other thoughts there. Would it be called WoW 2? That's a bit of a marketing question. People will call it WoW 2 even if it isn't. What I would probably do is I'll probably do either something of Warcraft or World of something, one of the two. And I think one of those directions would be the better way to put that, because then you kind of build into the brand, right? And you also have a built-in acronym that people can use, like WoW. I don't know. Adriok. Sorry, I keep screwing up your name. I will probably keep a little bit of my ear to the floor for that stuff, but I don't think I'm going to do a full wrap-up unless I think there's something really worth discussing there. We'll see. We'll see. Has there ever been an MMO with a 2 in a title that's worked other than Guild Wars 2? Well, then it'll be Row, Krenzler. Row doesn't have quite the same appeal to it. You have to think about the acronyms. Was I right about BlizzCon? Honestly, about 98%, yeah. I mean, I hate to say that, but I was extraordinarily right, with the big exception of the announcements. Even Metzen being on stage was something I predicted. Of course they were going to drag Metzen on stage. They would be mind-bogglingly stupid not to. But I will admit, the actual announcements he pushed out, the different content cycles, the different approach to the expansions, announcing 3 expansions, You caught me there. I was not anticipating that at all. That shocked me. Otherwise, yeah, no, I completely called that. Metzen has always been their top announcer. He's the person you put on stage. Yeah, imagine Metzen, who is now officially working. We all know that. Back there, being told, yeah, you can't go on stage. And yeah, the fact that they tried to like keep going after Metzen was weird. You notice Metzen didn't even close his own trailer. He went off stage as soon as he announced the trailer, and then that was the end of it. Now that's a fun one. Warcraft Realms. Or War for short. Probably Adriok. I don't know. We'll see. I still have to eat lunch, because my lunch is just sitting here slowly getting cold. I will be back for more Mario 64 afterwards. I do kind of need to take a little bit of a break, so I will see you guys in a bit.